Liberal reform can be understood like a very simple computer program or a bot. Take any doctrine like polygyny, multiple wives. Step one is de-authentication. The liberal bot will try to de-authenticate polygyny by saying that polygyny is not actually found in the Quran, that all the hadith that support polygyny are fabricated, that polygyny was developed 100 years after the Prophet, etc., etc. HCM is obviously useful for this de-authentication step, but sometimes de-authentication doesn't work. Polygyny is found in the Quran. So then the bot is programmed to go to step two, reinterpretation. The liberal bot tries to reinterpret the Quranic verse and do all kinds of goofy mental gymnastics to say that the verse is not actually about marrying multiple wives, it's about gender equality and blah, 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 blah. But sometimes the reinterpretation step doesn't work either. Maybe the verse is too unequivocal and too hard to deny. So the bot moves to step three, temporary concession. The bot is programmed to say, fine, polygyny is something authentic, and it was practiced in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, but this was only a temporary thing for those times, in that context. In our times, in our context, polygyny is unacceptable. And if we really focus on the message of the Quran, we'll see that it's all about gender equality and giving women their rights. That's the core message of the Quran. So clearly, Islam wanted to eventually ban polygamy. So this is the three-step liberal program. This is the basic script that liberal bots have been using for 300 years to strip away all non-liberal religious doctrines. The thing is, once you start using this program, there's no stopping. The program can be used to destroy literally every single religious doctrine. Liberal reformers get their foot in the door with doctrines like slavery and minor marriage, basically the most politically sensitive topics. They pressure traditionalists to renounce these sensitive doctrines, and some traditionalists unfortunately cave. They'll say, well, maybe the hadith are not authentic, or maybe Islam always meant to abolish slavery. Maybe minor marriage was only meant for ancient times, etc. But once the traditionalist concedes on one doctrine, he has no principled basis to reject further reform. So once the traditionalist throws out slavery, then the liberal reformer attacks the next most politically sensitive issue and says, well, you were willing to acknowledge that slavery was a relic of the past. Why not polygyny? Why not hijab? Why not the banning of alcohol? And on and on. Maybe the doctrine of heaven and hell was just a temporary concept meant for people 1400 years ago who couldn't understand higher ethics. But in the 21st century, we obviously understand higher ethics and don't need to be scared like children by the concept of hellfire. So even the concept of heaven and hell should be reformed. Or maybe even the concept of worshiping God. People 1400 years ago needed this metaphorical idea of God and worship. But in our time, people are more rational and intelligent. We don't need a concept like God in order to be good people, as long as you believe in some higher power and are nice to others. That's all you really need. In this way, liberal reform completely destroys religion. And that doesn't mean the liberal reformers themselves are atheists. Some of these liberal reformers might even practice religion. The problem is they're using a methodological approach that, when taken to its logical conclusion, obliterates religion. Two examples of religious reformers, Sayyid Ahmad Khan and Muhammad Abdu, who were big fans of colonialism and promoted the reformist project on behalf of their colonial masters. Interestingly, Javad identifies with these specific liberal reformers, and he says he's following their legacy. And he really is. Javad, like all liberal reformers, should be seen as a colonial agent. Liberal reform is all about Western domination because traditional religious people don't want to abandon their traditions. But the liberal hegemonic West forces them to do so via colonialism and neo-imperialism. This results in a civilizational genocide, and it licenses white supremacist domination over the entire world, including the Muslim world.